Welcome to the Kendo and Iaido Italia podcast in this English language version. Enjoy listening.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a close look at Zen Nippon Kendo Renmei iaido, but maybe not quite in the way you'd expect.
That's right. We're putting the swords down, metaphorically speaking, and digging into some fascinating source material. We've got notes from Ogura Noboru Sensei, Hanshi 8 Dan.
And some really insightful supplementary notes, too. It's all about the philosophy, the core ideas behind the movements.
Yeah, the sources are really focused on how to approach the practice to bring new life into it. That's the phrase they use.
Bring new life. I like that. So it's not just about technique, is it?
No, not at all. It's about the mental attitude, the rational application, making sure it's grounded.
So that's our goal today, then, to sort of unpack the mindset needed to make iaido more than just movements. Because the ZNKR manual itself is pretty blunt, right?
Oh, absolutely. It says flat out, iaido is not just physical exercise.
And if you're not actually, fighting that imagined enemy in your mind,
then it's just a dance. That's the term, that mental engagement, picturing the opponent, feeling the threat. That's the bedrock. It dictates everything.
Okay, so let's get into that mental landscape. This concept, Zan in Wofukumu, the persistent memory. What's that about?
It's fascinating. It redefines what a cut, a kiri, or zan actually is. It's not just the moment of impact.
Not just the physical slice.
Yeah. The source says the cut has to leave this persistent memory, or they call it a retrogusto, like an aftertaste.
An aftertaste. Wow. They use the analogy of a temple bell, right?
Exactly. You strike the bell, and the sound, the vibration, it lingers. It doesn't just stop.
So the cut does the same. The energy continues through the sword tip, the kensen.
Precisely. It's about sustained intent. The effect of the cut, the pressure on the opponent, continues even after the blade is passed. It's a constant projection of will.
That's a deep thought for even basic techniques, the Kihan.
Well, that's the point. This commitment has to infuse everything, even the basics. Which brings us to shuhari.
Right, the learning stages. Shu. Follow the master. Break out, add your own ideas. Establish your own way. We know that pattern.
But the key insight here is applying shuhari to Kihan itself. You have to follow, break, and transcend, even in the fundamentals.
Why the emphasis on basics, though?
Because the end goal isn't just competence. It's mastery so deep that you use the sword without thinking, automatically, like breathing.
If you have to stop and think about your basic stance mid-fight.
You're already done.
Yeah.
That deep internalization is key for reacting instantly.
An instant reaction needs perfect timing and distance. Ma-ai. Or just ma.
We often hear sukuita no mai, one step, one strike distance, but ma is richer than just physical space.
It's also timing.
Yes. Critically, it's the timing, the interval, the pause between actions or events.
Yeah.
Distance and time together, they're unified.
Mastering ma is mastering the rhythm of the fight, then.
Absolutely, which ties into the 3 unified attacks. The sources stress this integration.
Okay, what are the 3?
You attack with the mind, that's your spirit, your kisame. You attack with the body. And you attack with the sword, all unified.
And the mind leads.
Always. The mental pressure, the strong spirit has to come first. It overwhelms the opponent before the physical action even starts. The fight's won or lost there, in the mind.
Okay, mind first.
Yeah.
But how does the body translate that mental force into power? Let's get into the mechanics, specifically the grip, Tanuchi. This part surprised me.
Yeah, it's definitely counterintuitive. The core idea is that power transfer from your center, your haran,
Yeah, your abdomen, yeah.
travels to the sword primarily through the pinky finger.
The pinky, seriously. But we're told the thumb is like 5 times stronger? How does that work? Why the weakest finger?
It sounds backward, I know.
Yeah.
But it's about anatomy and leverage. The muscles on the lower side of your forearm, the ones controlling the pinky side of your hand, they're apparently 6 times stronger than the upper muscles.
6 times. Okay, that changes things.
Right. So a correct Tanuchi starts by engaging the pinky first. That taps into those stronger lower muscles. It creates stability and balances the force from the much stronger thumb.
So the pinky isn't generating raw force, it's unlocking the forearm's power and providing the stable leverage point.
You got it. It turns core energy into sword speed and control.
Okay, power channeled. Now speed. The notes make a really interesting distinction between practice, kaiko, and performance, enbu.
Oh yeah, this is crucial. Speed and slowness, too, isn't just about physical effort. It's mainly controlled by your mind, your attitude.
So in practice, you push hard.
Yes, kaiko is for striving, for intense repetition, for figuring things out, sweating the details.
But not in enbu.
No. During a performance, you should not strive. The
Yeah.
mind needs to be calm. Striving implies effort, doubt, maybe hesitation. The technique should just flow.
And that flow needs to be rational. Which brings us to riai, the logic of the technique.
Exactly. Kan-ri or riai. It means your techniques, your movements, they can't just be random or look fancy. They have to be rational. They have to have meaning.
Meaning in relation to the opponent.
Precisely. They must logically connect to what you imagine the opponent is doing. If they step here, you respond this way for this specific logical reason. It's combat logic applied.
No wasted movement. Everything justified.
That's the ideal. Which leads to a really important technical point. The difference between Nukitsuke and Ryukyuchi, the draw cuts.
Right. They aren't the same thing at all, are they?
Not in intent. Nukitsuke, you see it in the first and second kata, is described specifically as non-lethal.
Non-lethal with a katana. How does that?
Well, non-lethal in intent. Aiming typically temple to temple. The purpose is tactical. To stop the opponent's attack. To interrupt them. Buy yourself a moment.
Okay, so it's a deterrent, a check.
Exactly. And to make that work, you need a really strong sayabiki, pulling back the scabbard with the left hand. That helps position the blade correctly for whatever comes next.
So Nukitsuke is the check, then Nukiuchi. That's different. We see that in kata like the 6th, 7th, 9th.
Yes, Nuki-uchi is the deep, decisive, lethal cut. The intent is to take life. No ambiguity there.
And if there's a thrust, a tsuki afterwards, like in Moratsuki.
That's often described as the coup de grace, the finishing blow. So you see the escalation. Deter, disable, or finish. Clear strategic intent.
Okay, moving from intent to posture and execution, the notes warn about having a losing posture. What defines that?
It's actually very simple. A losing posture is any stance where your balance is off, making immediate reaction impossible. Your weight has to be centered, ready for explosive movement. Any hesitation because you're off balance is fatal.
And you need awareness too, right? Even in a one-on-one kata.
Absolutely. You have to maintain awareness of potential threats from other directions. Perceive multiple enemies, even when focusing on one. The 6th and 7th kata are mentioned as examples where this awareness is key. You need that 360-degree sensitivity.
That constant readiness. It reminds me of the geometric analogy they use for progress.
Ah, yes, the triangle and the circle.
Yeah.
I love that one. A beginner's practice is like a triangle.
Angular, maybe hesitant, top start.
Exactly, not smooth. As you get better, it should become like a circle. Fluid, continuous, round.
But you don't just stay circular.
Right.
There's another step.
Right. Once you achieve that circular fluidity, you have to consciously reinsert angles.
Yeah.
Not the beginner's awkward angles, but moments of sharp emphasis, clear decision points naturally within the flow.
So precision, then flow, then focused emphasis within the flow. It's a cycle.
A spiral, maybe. And this idea of flow is critical for performance. The source is very clear. In an inbu, if you're doing multiple katas, say 5,
Yeah.
they should feel like one single continuous technique.
Sure.
The transition between them has to be seamless. No mental breaks.
Let's look at some specific examples that show these principles. The pinky grip we talked about, that emphasis on the lick size shows up elsewhere, doesn't it? Like in Happenmei, the 8th kata.
It does. Gaminade. When you strike the opponent between the eyes with the tsukagashira, the palm.
The end cap of the handle, yeah.
The instruction is specific. Strike using the power generated by the left hand.
Reinforcing that left side power channel from the hara. Right hand guides, left hand delivered.
Exactly. And you see it again in Ochiburi, shaking the blood off the blade.
Which often looks kind of flimsy when you see it done poorly.
Right. But the proper way, according to the source, demands decisive action from the left. You lower the left elbow, push down hard with the left hand, close your shoulder blades, drop the shoulders.
And the motion itself.
It's performed as a kesagiri, a sharp diagonal cut. If it's just a weak flick, the angle's wrong, the intent is lost.
Let's use Shihogiri, the 10th kata, to talk about Mai again. It shows different distances, right?
It's a perfect example of dynamically shifting distance. You start in shikama, close distance, when you attack the first opponent's hand or thrust the second opponent.
Correct, close in.
Then when you turn back to face the first opponent again, you've created space, moving to chuma, medium distance, that is Soku Ito range.
One step, one cut distance.
And for the final, big vertical cut on that first opponent, you're likely at toma, long distance. The kata forces you to fluidly manage and transition between all three ranges based on the tactical situation. But again, none of this technique works in a vacuum. It's all underpinned by the mental, the spiritual aspect. which ties directly into the Zen teachings mentioned.
Yeah, the source gives two specific Zen maxims. The first one is Dakuza Daiyuho, sitting alone in the Great Mountain.
That's about total concentration. Absolute focus, putting your entire attention into what you're doing, completely free of doubt, especially, they stress, during an embu.
You have to be that immovable mountain mentally.
Regardless of the pressure, yeah. And the second one?
Kakunen Musho, having an open mind like a clear sky with no clouds.
Beautiful image, isn't it? A mind that's clear, receptive, unobstructed. This helps explain the difference between practice and performance again.
How so?
Well, it's okay to have doubts, questions, uncertainties during Kaiko. That's part of study, part of learning. You're supposed to analyze.
But during Envu,
no doubts allowed. The mind must be calm, clear, certain. Kakunen Musho.
there's that instruction to even forget the sword in your hands during performance. That sounds almost impossible. How do you execute complex techniques if you forget your tool?
It means going beyond conscious awareness of the physical object. You trust your training, that deep Kihon mastery we talked about. The body knows what to do.
So you let the internalized skill take over, driven by that calm, clear mind state.
Exactly. You transcend the physical act, letting the spirit direct the automatic response. No ego, no second guessing.
And even after it's seemingly over, after Noto sheathing the sword,
The focus remains. That final step back to the starting position must carry strong zanshin. Lingering awareness, vigilance.
not just relaxing, it's showing that powerful spirit, even in the silence, right?
Yes. A vigorous spirit, ready for whatever might still come. So if we bring this all together, the core message from Ogura Sensei's material seems to be that ZNKR iaido is driven from the inside out. The mental state, the Zen focus, the kisame, the spirit has to dictate everything.
And it has to ensure the movements are rational, Riai. They make sense tactically. The mind gives the technique life and purpose.
The mind is the real weapon. The sword is just the tool it uses.
And that commitment doesn't stop at the dojo doors. The notes end with a challenge, don't they?
I do. Live your daily life without forgetting any of the themes you were working on in iaido or kendo. Don't compartmentalize.
Wow. Okay, so here's a thought for you listening. We talked about Dakuzai Daiyuho, sitting alone in the great mountain, that state of unwavering focus, free of doubt. What if you tried to bring that specific quality, that undoubting focused intensity to something important in your life this week? Maybe a difficult project, some strategic planning, even just tackling a problem you've been avoiding.
How might applying that focused, mountain-like mindset change how you approach it? Could it elevate your concentration, your execution, even when you're not holding a sword?
Something to think about. Until next time on The Deep Dive.
Thank you for listening to this podcast.
Kendo Iaido Italia, il podcast.